I went to pick up my wife from work, hoping to surprise her. The real surprise was seeing her standing close to another man. They were laughing, leaning in toward each other like there was no one else in the world. When she noticed me, her face instantly turned cold. "What are you doing here?" she asked sharply. Before I could even respond, she turned to the man beside her and said, "He's just a friend from work. Don't misunderstand." I stood there quietly for a moment, then pulled a document from my bag and handed it to her. "President Chen, please sign this," I said. Her expression stiffened. She hesitated, then took the pen from me. "Aren't you going to read the clauses first?" I asked. She waved it off. "I trust you." She didn't even glance at the page. She just flipped straight to the last one and signed. Watched her, my hands trembling slightly. If she had looked, she would have realized she was signing our divorce agreement. But she didn't. She probably couldn't. To go out with her first love. She had completely forgotten what today was. Our third wedding anniversary just a week ago. She promised we'd have dinner together tonight. Despite her constantly choosing him over me lately, I held on to a bit of hope. I had even prepared for both outcomes, either dinner with her or this. Tun Chan had returned from abroad not long ago, and ever since, she and he had been growing closer. The thought of divorce had been in my mind for a while, and today, I finally went through with it. "I'll head home. I can take a cab." "Tun Chan and I need to talk," she said flatly. I gave her a small nod. Sure. Go ahead." She seemed a little uneasy, but before anything more could be said, Tun Chan nudged her, clearly impatient. "You ready?" "I'm starving." Her tone immediately softened. "All right. I'll take you for a big meal," she said sweetly, like she was coaxing a child. But Tun Chan wasn't a child. He was only 3 months younger than me. A bitter feeling crept into my chest. I had loved her for 10 years, and never once had she spoken to me with that kind of tenderness. Meanwhile, Tun Chan didn't have to lift a finger to get it, maybe. It really was time to let go. I had known Chen Yu since high school. She was in the class next to mine. I liked her so much, I even applied to the same university just to be near her. But back then, her heart belonged to someone else. It wasn't until her first love moved abroad and married someone else that she finally gave up and started. Considering blind dates, that's when I stepped forward and told her I wanted to marry her. She agreed, but only under the condition that we kept it a secret. I thought if I loved her long enough, she'd eventually fall in love with me. But when Tun Chan came back, that fragile hope shattered. That night I grabbed a quick bite by myself and returned to our cold, empty home. We still had a month to go before the divorce was official, the mandatory cooling-off period. But our marriage already felt like a cage. I took down all our wedding photos and tossed them in the dumpster outside. Chen Yu came home late, visibly cheerful. She brought me milk, tea, and cake. I frowned and quietly threw them away. After 3 years of marriage, she still didn't know I hate sweets. I used to pretend I liked them just to make her happy. Later, I found out Tun Chan loved them. She remembered his preferences when we got into bed. She noticed the bare walls. "Where are the wedding photos?" she asked casually. "They were damp and fading. I took them out to get repaired," I said, just as casually. "Oh," she murmured, and drifted off to sleep, still smiling. That smile definitely wasn't for me. In the middle of the night, she rolled over and nestled into my arms. On instinct, I pushed her away. She looked at me, hurt. "I'm actually in the mood tonight, and you're rejecting me?" "I'm not feeling well," I said quietly. Her face softened. "Is it your stomach again? Should I get medicine?" "I already took some," I replied. "I just need rest." She nodded and turned over, relieved. Meanwhile, I lay there staring. At the ceiling, sleep impossible. Just before dawn, I heard her phone buzzing on the nightstand. A string of messages lit up the screen. They were from Tun Chan. "Sister, every second with you is happiness. Thank you for dinner, the movie, the amusement park. Let's keep doing these things together, grow old together." I laughed bitterly. I'd invited her to dinner countless times. She said she was busy. I suggested movies. She wasn't interested. I once asked if we could go to an amusement park. She scoffed, said it was childish. Turns out it wasn't about time or interest. It was just about the person. She never wanted to do those things with me. The messages kept coming, and then Tun Chen called. She picked up in a half-asleep voice. "Chen, what's wrong?" she mumbled. Then she remembered I was lying right. Beside her, her face paled. "Sister, I miss you." "I can't sleep," he said, loudly enough for me to hear. She shot me a nervous glance and quickly whispered, "Sean, I have something urgent. I can't talk now," before hanging up. Then she turned to me. "Don't take it the wrong way. Tun Chen is just young. He says weird things sometimes." I pulled my arm out of her grasp. "If you two have so much to talk about, go ahead. I'll sleep in the guest room." She stared at me, stunned. She didn't expect me to be so calm, but this wasn't anger. This was clarity. We had nothing in common. She was the CEO of a family business. I was just a doctor to close the gap. I had even taken business courses. I tried to bring up her field in conversation, but she always shut me down. "You're a doctor. Don't understand these things." I even convinced my hospital to collaborate with her company on a medical project just to spend more time with her after we signed the deal last week. She told me, "Let's not work together again after this." "Why?" I asked. "I want to keep work and personal life separate," she replied. What she really meant was, she didn't want people to know we were married. The next morning as I was getting ready, she said suddenly, "Can I see the contract we signed yesterday?" I didn't get a chance to review it. Panic gripped me. She was obsessed with appearances. She realized she had signed a divorce agreement. She might try to backtrack, not out of love, but pride. "There's no issue," I said slowly. "But if you insist, I'll show it to you. Just don't get too emotional when you see it." I rummaged around and finally found the file, hands slightly shaking. Right then, her phone rang again. The caller ID, L. "Look at the agreement." "Before you answer," I urged, "it's important." But she ignored me and picked up. Frantic voice came through. "Sister, I'm in danger." Her face changed. "What happened?" "I was bitten by stray dogs. My leg's bleeding." "Come. Get me." She stood up, grabbing her bag. "Stay there. I'll come right now." I looked at her, holding the divorce papers. "If it's really that serious, shouldn't you be calling emergency services?" Tun Chen must have realized his excuse was weak. He added, "The dog owner's crazy. She's threatening me with a knife." She was heartbroken, she said. "Don't worry, I'll be right there." After hanging up, she looked at me and said urgently, "Shia Chuan is in trouble. I have to go help him." Before I could respond, she rushed out the door. I quietly put the divorce agreement back into the drawer and returned to the hospital to finish my shift. Later that day, Shno brought Shia Chuan to the hospital for treatment and, as fate would have it, we crossed paths. Shia Chuan had one arm around her shoulder, limping slightly, while she supported him by the waist. They walked into the examination room together, closely leaning on each other. It wasn't me who saw them first. It was a colleague from the infectious diseases department. She'd come to pick up some materials and just happened to catch the scene. "They looked like such a loving couple," she later said. "So close, like they'd been married for years." Another woman followed behind them, chatting away. "You two are adorable. The young man is so lucky. I told you I could have taken him myself after all. It was my dog that caused the accident." That must have been the dog owner Tonin mentioned. She seemed nice enough, yet Tonin had no problem smearing her reputation, just for an excuse too. See, Chi knew. As the woman gushed about how sweet they looked, Chinu's cheeks flushed. But she didn't correct her. I stood there, watching from a distance, unnoticed. The two of them were locked in a quiet, intimate moment. My colleague nudged me. "Dr. Yan, did you find what you were looking for?" I nodded. "Yeah, I got it." The sound of my voice, Chinu finally looked up. Her eyes widened in shock, and she quickly pulled her hand away from Shia Chuan. "What? Why are you here?" she asked. I met her eyes and replied coldly, "Work here? You didn't know?" She looked embarrassed. Her expression said it all. We'd been married 3 years, and my own wife didn't even know where I worked. Shia Chuan didn't look pleased to see me either. He kept his face tight and didn't say a word. To him, I was the intruder. My colleague, clearly confused, asked, "Wait, you two know each other?" Chinu looked panicked. I could tell she was afraid I'd spill everything. I gave her a lifeline. We've worked together before. Relief washed over her face, though guilt lingered in her eyes. My colleague went on to explain Shea Chuan's condition. It's nothing serious, just a few injections. Young people these days are lucky, someone always rushing to take care of them, even for a minor scrape. I nodded. Good to know. Then I glanced at Chino with a bitter smile, seeing how worried Miss Chen was. I thought the patient had broken his leg. Seems I was mistaken. Shea Chuan's face darkened, but he forced a smile. Thank you. For your concern, brother? I didn't respond, just took the documents and left. But Chino chased after me. Yin Kung, are you jealous? I turned to her. Do you think I have any right to be? She hesitated, then softly said, I'm sorry. I stayed quiet. I was about to tell her it didn't matter, we were getting divorced anyway, but she surprised me. I'll make our relationship public soon. I just wasn't ready earlier. Don't get the wrong idea about that woman, or about me and my junior. I'll explain everything. But her words didn't touch me. Deep down, I knew she wouldn't follow through. Don't force yourself, I said. Let's just leave it. I turned and went back to my office. After work, I went home and started packing. Everything related to Chino went into Boxer's souvenirs from trips, matching outfits she'd bought on a whim. Gifts we'd exchanged over the years, 10 years of love. 3 years of marriage, so many memories, now reduced to cardboard. I packed well into the night. Exhausted, I fell asleep on the living room carpet. I woke up several times, shivering from the cold. She still hadn't come home. Worried, I called her straight to voicemail. With nothing else to do, I opened WeChat and scrolled through my feed. That's when I saw her. Someone had tagged her in Shea Chuan's moments. They'd gone from the hospital to a bar, sitting side by side, laughing, drinking. China's back was to the camera, her slender figure lit softly by the bar lights. She looked radiant even from behind. I could tell she was happy. Of course she was. Being with someone you like brings joy. With me, she'd always seemed distant and bored. Now, she didn't even bother coming home. But after the divorce, she wouldn't have to hide anything. I'd give her that freedom. At dawn, I finally made a decision. I would throw everything away, all the old things. Dragging the heavy boxes downstairs, I ran into her. Chino had just come home. Her face was glowing, her energy cheerful. Clearly she'd had a good night. She noticed the boxers and smiled, helping me carry one. Why are you getting rid of so much stuff? I forced a calm smile. Old things, no use keeping them. Curious, she opened a lid. Inside were all the couple's items we'd collected over the years. Her expression changed instantly. Kong, what are you doing? Couldn't hide the bitterness in my voice. Finally noticed. Huh. We've been married 3 years, Chino. Have you ever cared about these things? I kept them every year. But what's the point? The clothes were never worn. The souvenirs just gathered dust. She looked guilty. It's my fault. I've been busy with work. Lately, helping my junior adjust after returning from abroad, I've neglected you. Then, trying to make up for it, she said, Tell you what, take some time off next week. Let's go on a trip. I shook my head. Can't. I'm busy. Then the week after, she insisted. Her tone turned unusually firm. Despite her gentle appearance, when she wanted something, she wouldn't let go. I sighed. Fine, next Wednesday. I figured it was time to finally talk things through anyway. She smiled, satisfied. Don't be petty, okay? Be good. Softness in her voice threw me off. For 3 years, she'd always been polite but distant. What was this now? She called her assistant and the driver to bring the boxers back upstairs. Was it just an act, or did she not want a divorce after all? In the elevator, I wanted to ask you and Shea Chuan, but she interrupted me. There's nothing between us. I only see him as a younger brother who was scared last night, so I stayed with him. Once he gets used to life back here, I won't be seeing him much. I'll have more time for you. Her words were full of explanation and promises. I wanted To believe her? She hadn't seen the divorce papers yet. If she was willing to try again, maybe I could too. I'd wait. I wanted to see if she meant it. The next day, just before leaving work, I got a message in our alumni group an old classmate was getting married and invited. Everyone, she was Chinu's best friend, and she tagged her directly. You better bring a date, everyone chimed in. Not just a friend, bring your boyfriend. Chinu's reply was unusually serious. I will. Tonight, I'd finally get to accompany my wife to her best friend's wedding, and I couldn't help but feel overjoyed. Was Chenu finally going to reveal our relationship? After 3 years of keeping our marriage a secret, was this the moment I had waited so long for? This felt like a breakthrough, a joyful turning point. There was no way I could go through with the divorce now. Smiling from ear to ear, I rushed home, ready to tear up the divorce agreement. When I stepped inside, Chenu was already dressed to the nines in a stunning purple gown. She looked breathtaking. Wait for me, I told her excitedly. As I headed into the dressing room, I carefully picked out the same suit I wore on our wedding day. It may have been a quiet, private event, just us and our parents, but it was the most important day of my life. Today felt just as significant. Humming softly, I stepped out of the room to find Chenu waiting, clearly impatient. At my suit and froze for a second. Then, recovering quickly, she asked, "Are you planning to come with me to the wedding?" I nodded. Of course. If I don't go, who'll be your date? A flicker of guilt passed over her face. Yinkong? That was just a silly joke between classmates. You don't have to take it seriously. I'm not bringing a date today. Her voice softened. You've worked hard all day, you should rest. I'll be back soon. Her words hit me like a brick. So she wasn't planning to introduce me as her husband after all. The excitement I'd felt moments ago plummeted. Whatever makes you happy, I mumbled, and returned to the dressing room, slowly taking off the suit. I glanced at the divorce agreement in the drawer. It was a good thing I hadn't torn it up after all. Downstairs, I heard the sound of a car. Starting. Through the window, I caught a glimpse of Chenu leaving radiant. Glowing yet drifting further away from me, I started packing my things. I had delayed this long enough. 10 years. It felt like this relationship was going nowhere. Just as I was in the middle of sorting my stuff, Dr. Jiang called. There'd been an emergency at the Four Seasons Hotel, and I had to respond right. Away I left immediately. At the hotel, my colleague and I rushed to load the injured person into the ambulance. But just as we were about to leave, I caught sight of Chenu. She was stepping out of the hotel, hand in hand with Tian Chuan. They looked perfect together, like a match made in heaven. In that moment, I finally understood why she hadn't wanted to bring me to the wedding in her heart. Tian Chuan had already replaced me. The ambulance pulled away, and I forced myself to focus on the task at hand. I buried my emotions in the chaos of emergency care. It was already 2 a.m. when I returned from the hospital. After a long, hot shower, I realized Chenu still wasn't home, but strangely, I no longer cared. I slept soundly the next morning. I saw she'd sent a message during the night. Staying over at a friend's. Don't wait up. I sneered inwardly. That friend was probably Tian Chuan. Out of habit, I checked Tian Chuan's social media. He'd posted a photo of Chenu just. Her side profile, surrounded by friends, but he was holding her hand. In the video, her friends were teasing them, telling them to get married already. Chenu didn't say anything, but she smiled. Genuinely happy, and with that, I knew. There was nothing left for me to hold on to. I bought an apartment near the hospital and started moving in bit by bit. I only returned to the house to collect my things. Chenu didn't notice. I doubt she even realized I was gone. A few days later, I texted her, "Have you decided where we're going for our trip?" She replied quickly, "What trip? I'm so busy. I don't have time for that." I just sent her a smiling emoji and stayed silent. Eventually, she must have remembered. "Sorry, Yinkong. I forgot. I've got too much work this week, but I'll push. Things back next week. Let's take the trip then, okay?" "No need," I replied. "Your time is precious." Thinking I was upset, she sent a few more messages to comfort me. I didn't reply. She never noticed I'd stopped living at home. She wasn't around enough to care. Then she texted me again. I have a business trip abroad. It'll take half a month. I just replied, okay. But when I opened her latest post, I noticed something odd. In a solo photo she'd posted at the airport, I saw a pair of men's leather shoes just barely visible in the frame. Something about those shoes felt familiar. On my way back to the hospital, distracted by the thought, I rear-ended a car. The impact was loud. Pain shot through my leg, the door crumpled, glass shattered, and a shard pierced an artery. Blood gushed out. I kept my composure, applied pressure to the wound, and called for help. But before the ambulance arrived, I lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in the hospital, my own workplace. Dr. Jiang told me I'd nearly died from blood loss. Surgery was necessary, but it required a family member's signature. My elderly parents lived far away. Calling Chenyu was my only option. Her phone was off. I already knew her destination. It was just a neighboring country. A 2 or 3 hour flight. No time difference. Helpless, I turned to Dr. Jiang. Can you sign it for me? Friend's signature is enough? She frowned. Don't you have a wife? Wasn't it a secret marriage? She's abroad. And we're getting divorced. Dr. Jiang sighed. Then it's the right decision. You're in critical condition and still can't reach her. She signed the form. The surgery went well, but I needed at least 2 weeks of bed rest. During that time, I still couldn't reach Chenyu. I ended up hiring a caregiver. On the 10th day bored, I started scrolling WeChat. That's when I saw Tian Chuan's post-travel photos updated in real time. And in every one, there was a woman's silhouette. Her back. Her hair. I recognized her instantly. Chenyu. She'd never been on a business trip. She was vacationing with him. I even spotted those same leather shoes from the airport photo in one of his shots. It wasn't a coincidence. By accident, I double-tapped one of his posts and liked it. As I went to unlike it, I noticed Chenyu had liked it too. Seconds later, she messaged me. I ran into Tian Chuan during the trip, and we toured the local sites together. Don't misunderstand. There's nothing between us. And then she asked, By the way, how did you even get his WeChat? I felt nothing at that point, just numbness. From our alumni group, I replied, You haven't forgotten we went to the same university, have you? She responded instantly, I'll come back to be with you. I'm booking a flight right now. No need. Focus on your work. 5 minutes later, she sent a photo of her boarding pass. I'll be back in 3 hours. And when she showed up at the hospital, she brought Tian Chuan with her. They walked into the hospital with their luggage, Tian Chuan and Chien. From a distance, they looked like a couple coming to visit an old friend. But when Chien walked over to my bedside, the first thing she did was scold me. Didn't you call me after the accident? I was just on a business trip in the neighboring country. It would have only taken a few hours to come back. I gave her a tired smile. I wanted to tell her that I had tried calling her. Her phone was off the entire time. But then I thought, what was the point? She should have known if her phone was off. She should have known I was in the hospital. 10 whole days. Did she even think about me during those 10 days? Did she try to contact me even once? I didn't want to bother you. You were busy, I said politely, giving her the excuse she probably wanted to hear. Her response came quickly, almost offended. We're husband and wife. What do you mean bother? But even as she said it, her eyes drifted toward the door. Tian Chuan was out there waiting for her, trying to peek into the room. No. If you have something else to do, go ahead, I said gently. No. There's no point in keeping someone here if their heart isn't in it. Chien looked at me, guilt flickering in her eyes. When are you getting discharged? I'll come pick you up. 5 days, I replied. But don't worry, can manage on my own? No way, she insisted. I will come pick you up. I didn't argue, I just nodded. But deep down I knew she wouldn't come, and I was right. 5 days later, I was discharged. I gave her a call out of habit. I'm out of the hospital. Are you free to come over? There was hesitation on the other end of the line, like she'd completely forgotten. If you're busy, it's fine, I added. Quickly, I've recovered already. She sounded relieved. I'm so sorry, Yin Kong. I really can't get away right now. I have to work overtime. Okay, I said calmly and hung up. Later, I checked her WeChat moments. There it was, a photo of a birthday celebration. Tian Chuan's birthday. She was right there in the middle of the group, smiling, standing close to him. Thanks to my amazing sis for throwing me a birthday party. Love you, he'd written. So much for overtime. That night, I moved all my belongings out of our marital home. Though it was joint property, I'd already signed it over to her in the divorce agreement. I cleared every trace of myself from the place. Even the couple memorabilia in the storage room, I tossed it all. She never cared about those things anyway. Unexpectedly, she came home drunk that night and called me. "Why aren't you home?" Mumbled. "I want your hangover soup," calmly replied while unpacking in my new apartment. "Get your assistant to order some. I'm not coming back." There was a pause on the line, then her voice tightened. "What do you mean?" "Coming home. Where else would you go?" "You don't need to worry about that anymore," I said. "Just live your life." Her tone turned angry.
Ah!
"Are you seriously throwing a tantrum just because I went to Tian Chuan's birthday party?" I laughed coldly. "So you knew I knew? Were you provoking me on purpose? Or do you really think I'm that stupid?" She tried to justify herself. "I didn't think you'd care. You're just like a younger brother to me. In 3 years of marriage, you've never cared about me. I don't think we have feelings for each other. Shouldn't we be free to come and go as we please?" I stayed calm. "I'm sorry you misunderstood me so much. If you want to come and go freely, that's your choice. But it doesn't mean I have to accept it. Since you like freedom so much, I'll give it to you. Can go our separate ways." Then I hung up. Not long after, her messages flooded in. "Why did you move your things out? Are you trying to separate from me? Is it because I didn't pick you up? Or because I went to Tian Chuan's birthday? Or because I went on a trip with him? Are you jealous? Let's go on a vacation in 5 days. I'll distance myself from him if you want. Let's fix this." I put her on Do Not Disturb. The next day, she started calling frantically. "Yin Kang, explain. What do you want? Let's break up." "You're really doing this," I answered calmly. "Chi, I'm tired. Since you never fell in love with me, let's just separate." She broke down. "I don't want to break up. I'm used to having you around." I chuckled. "How many days have you actually been home since we got married? How many meals have we eaten together? You're not used to me. You're just not ready to accept that I'm the one ending it." I gave her an out. "Then let's do this. You initiate the breakup. I'll go along with it." She sobbed harder. "What?" "Let me try again. Just give me a little more time. Let's take that trip in 5 days. I want to make it up to you. You're a good person. I don't want to give up on us." 5 days later was also the end of the divorce cooling off period. I agreed. "Fine, let's go watch the sunrise." At the beach, we had watched the sunset there on our wedding day. Watching the sunrise on the day we ended, things felt poetic. A proper beginning and a proper end. That morning, I put on the same dress I wore on our wedding day and headed to the beach. I didn't remind her if she remembered and came great. If not, I'd go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and end it for good. The sun rose slowly. I waited for an hour. She didn't show, so I stood there alone and watched the sunrise. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. I wasn't scared of the future anymore. I had no regrets. I realized it's better to cherish myself than to stay in a relationship where I was invisible. As I reached for my phone to take a photo, a familiar figure suddenly appeared in my frame. Yin Kang. "Let's not break up," Chien said softly. "Let's try again, please." I gently pulled my arm away from hers. "We've been trying for 3 years. You still have no feelings for me? I'm done waiting." I pulled out the divorce agreement and handed it to her. "This is the property division agreement you signed a month ago. You didn't even bother to read it then. Take your time now. If it all looks fine, we'll go get the divorce certificate." She looked at it in shock. "You've wanted to divorce me? Since a month ago?" I shook my head. "No, the cracks started long before that. I've felt this way since we came back from Tonin." She stared at me. "That was 6 months ago. Why didn't you say anything?" I smiled sadly, because by then, I already knew the truth. I had loved her far longer than she ever cared for me. And that was the beginning of my end with her. I looked at her, bitterness rising in my chest. Would it have mattered if I told you earlier? Would you have believed me? Would anything have changed? Suddenly, Chinyu dropped to her knees, clutching my leg with trembling hands. Please, don't divorce me, she sobbed. I only just realized. It's you I love. I'm scared of losing you. I didn't know I had fallen for you until now. I gently pushed her hands away. Memories flashing through my mind, those countless lovey-dovey photos she'd posted with Tian Chuan on her moments. If this is how you treat someone you love, I said, voice cold, then how were you treating Tian Chuan all this time? Was that hate? She broke down in tears, her voice trembling as she tried to explain. I thought I still had feelings for Tian Chuan. I really tried to be good to him. But over the past 6 months, I slowly realized. Anymore? I started to think maybe I loved you. But I wasn't sure until today. I finally understand. Yin Kong, I love you. Please, give me another chance. I stayed silent, watching her cry, plead. Then her phone rang. It was Tian Chuan. I laughed quietly, a mocking curl on my lips. Jinyu panicked. I won't answer it. Go ahead, I said. What if it's urgent? She answered. Her face changed as she listened. When she hung up, she looked heartbroken. Tian Chuan was in a car accident. I have to go back. I waved her off, unfazed. Go. Goodbye. She hesitated, clearly torn, but eventually turned and rushed away. That same day, I contacted lawyer and filed for divorce. Tian Chuan really had been in an accident, broken his leg. Chinyu stayed in the hospital to take care of him for a whole month. When he was finally discharged, she was handed the divorce decree. During that month, she ignored all communication from my lawyer, refused to appear in court. The judge had no choice but to issue a default judgment. Ironically, the evidence that helped finalize the divorce so quickly was Tian Chuan's public posts, photos, captions, tags. 6 months of their sweet love, documented online, proof of her affair. After the papers were delivered, she started waiting for me at the hospital entrance every day. She said she didn't accept the divorce, that she wanted to make things right. I avoided her, hoping she'd get the hint. But she only became more relentless, waiting for me outside my office, showing up unannounced. Eventually, I lost my patience. Chen, we are divorced, I said flatly. If you keep this up, don't blame me for being ruthless. But she clung. To me, shamelessly. Yin Kong, I know your secret. You've liked me for 7 years. After we got married, you loved me for another 3. I don't believe you can just let me go after 10 years of love. Let's get married again. I know you still love me. I shook her off. My voice turned to ice. Don't flatter yourself. You cheated on me with Tian Chuan for 6 months. Even if I did still love you, do you think I could forgive that? Besides, I don't love you anymore. Her face twisted with anger. How can you say that in front of so many people? You had no problem chasing me down in front of all these people. Why should I protect your dignity now? I snapped. If your pride matters to you, stop pestering me. Because if you don't, I won't hesitate to expose your affair with Tian Chuan to the public. Chinyu had always cared deeply about her. Reputation turned pale at the threat. But still, she wouldn't give up. Just tell me one thing, she pleaded. When did you stop loving me, and when did you start hating me? I decided to tell her the truth. Maybe then, she'd finally give up. I stopped loving you the moment you chose to take care of Tian Chuan instead of showing up on the final day of the cooling-off period. And I started hating you after the divorce, when you kept bothering me like this. She pressed further. If I had chosen you that day, let go of Tian Chuan, would you have still given me a chance? I nodded. Yes. Right up until the last moment, I was willing to try again, but you didn't show up. That chance is gone. Jinyu crumpled to the ground, crying like a child. I really regret not coming that day. I should have chosen you. I've cut off all contact with Tian Chuan. He's gone abroad. I'll never see him again. Just give me another chance. I looked at her, truly seeing the damage, the aging in her face, the gray hairs already peeking through. In just a few days, she seemed to have aged 20 years, but I didn't waver. Oh, If you regret it for the rest of your life, I'm not coming back.